Hello my lovely friends, my name is Ava and today I have some romance recommendations with the fated mate trope. Like many other people, I adore a fated mate. I think this is the 7th or 6th video that I've made with the fated mate trope, so I'll try to link down all my other ones down below if you want even more recommendations. I am a sucker for fated mates. Absolute sucker for them, whether it be fantasy, alien, monster, whatever the case may be. I love some fated love going on. So let's get into these 10 fated mate romance recommendations. And again, like my last video, I have all my books packed away. I'm moving in 4 days, so I don't have any of them on me, so we're just going to be going with the pictures on the screen. I hope that's okay. The first one that I have is The Prince of Prohibition by Marilyn Marks. Whenever I'm recommending this book, I always tell people if you love Agamaf, specifically Agamaf, look no further. But this has a 1920s setting to it, and it's kind of like a blend of our world and the fantasy world. Our world in the 1920s, they don't know that fae and magical creatures exist, but they do. They have their own little secret society here on our planet. The heroine kind of gets roped into that, and she may have been fated to have been roped into that her entire life, and that's all I can really say. Like, if you love Reese, if you love Reese-Anne, you need to pick this one up. Like, this, he's very like Reese coded, so yeah. And I can't talk about this one too much, honestly. There's 3 books in the series. The 3rd one isn't even out yet, and every book is about that couple. So, like, it's an ongoing series currently. Serpents of Sky and Flame by Rebecca F. Kenny is my next one. This is a romantasy with dragons. I love pitching this book. It's really bizarre, but I absolutely love it. Okay, so our hero is actually a dragon. Like, he's just a dragon. Just a dragon. He thinks he's like the king of all the dragon people, and he's at war with this human country. The day of battle, the queen of this land, the humans, tasks a mage to perform a spell, and the spell kills instantly all female dragons. And they're basically like, the rutting season is coming up soon and they're screwed. So the hero basically communicates to all of his fellow dragon men, I want you to kidnap a human woman right now off the streets. And that's what he does, and he ends up kidnapping the queen's daughter for revenge, the princess, and that's our heroine. So he has this elaborate plan where he's going to capture his own magician and have them perform a spell to shift all the human women into dragons so they have women to be with during their wedding season. But the mage, the magician, she's a human herself, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do a little trick on them, I guess. And she actually performs a spell to shift the dragons into men, but they can shift back and forth into dragons. They're trying to figure out how to combat that. So yeah, this one is definitely enemies to lovers, hate to love. Like hate to love. They absolutely hate each other. I have a hard time, by the way, picking up romantic books that are not over a 4.0 rating on Goodreads. I think this one is like a little bit under, and I think it's because there's some stuff going on between the heroine and the hero when he's a dragon. Like, stuff going on, and people maybe skeeved out about that, but I'm a monster romance reader, so you know, like, I'm used to it. So if you don't want that, maybe don't pick this one up. But if you want to dip your toe into monster romance, I feel like this is a great one, because he's just a dragon and he shifts into a man. Like, it's a grand old time. And I didn't say this in my last one either, but basically, generally, all these books, blanket statement, are fated mate romances. They're incorporated in there somehow. I just don't want to spoil stuff. You know what I mean? Entranced by the Basilisks by Lillian Lark is another like monster one. Lillian writes a lot of monster romances, and I love her for that. This is an MMF romance, by the way. The 2 heroes are basilisks, which they kind of shifted like snake-like kind of like creatures, and they actually are exes. And the heroine works at a museum with one of the guys, and she ends up getting cursed, kind of like Medusa, like Medusa is, where she has these snakes. She reads this book, I think, and then she gets cursed to have these snakes on her head out of her hair, and it turns people to stone. And I think the only people that are immune to it are basilisks. So the hero figures out she's been cursed and asks his ex, who is very knowledgeable in curses and whatnot, to help them out. And they kind of all 3 get roped together and trying to figure out this curse. But they end up falling for each other. All 3 of them may or may not find out that they're all fated to be with each other. I have another basilisk one. This is Wed to the Basilisk by Layla Faye. This one's actually kind of like an arranged marriage or marriage of convenience is a better term, I think. In this world, our world, there's this, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a marriage agency between monsters and human women, and they match you with your perfect match, your fated mate, basically. The heroine is escaping a abusive relationship, and she thinks the only way she can escape him is by being under the protection of a monster creature who is going to be her husband, and that happens to be our hero, who is a basilisk, and he is down bad for her the moment he sees her. But then the ex comes into the picture, like right before they leave the chapel. The hero guy kills him on spot because he touched his woman. And the heroine is now terrified of him because the reason why she left her abusive ex is because he was violent. And so he's trying to like get back into her good graces, just show her how much he cares about her and that they are fated to be together. One that I recently read is Halfling by S.E. Wendell. The hero in here is half orc, half human, and it's a fantasy world, by the way, so all of it takes place on a fantasy world. And the heroine has been kidnapped by his orc clan, and he decides to help her escape, and it's basically them on a road trip to try and bring her back home to her family, and they fall in love with each other throughout the process and may or may not find out that they're fated mates. That's a very generalized summary, but I loved it. Like, this one is so fun. If you want like a cutesy, cozy, hot orc fantasy romance, like, this hero is such a cinnamon roll, even though he looks kind of scary. He doesn't really, he just looks like a man with green skin, honestly, so not really that scary. Because he's such a softie. Like, he literally, first couple of chapters, he ends up finding this abandoned baby raccoon in the forest and adopts him, and they travel with this little baby raccoon, and it is so cute. Next, I've taken to Himo by Elizabeth Stevens. This is her, what number is it? 4th book in her Severe Mate series. I really enjoy this series. They're all different alien romances. They kind of take place in the same like universe, but they're all about different couples. And every single one is a fated mate romance. So I think I've mentioned the previous ones in previous fated mate romance videos. I love the representation here as well. Our heroine in here wears a hijab. Like, when are you ever gonna see an alien romance with a woman who wears a hijab? Never. Like, I love seeing that. Elizabeth Stevens is very diverse in her writing. I love her. This heroine is kind of roped into this new alien universe. You've seen her in the previous books in the series. She's been very sheltered her whole life, and she's kind of like an emissary right now, and the hero is her bodyguard, and they like absolutely hate each other, but he is tasked to protect her, and he knows that they're fated to be together, but he's like, no, I'm not gonna be with a human, no. But he's like falling hardcore for her, and the heroine's like always been into him, but he acts like a dick, so what's she gonna do? Agnars Teacher by Jennifer Wood is my next one. Our heroine gets kidnapped by aliens, and actually their ship, I think, not crashes. I don't know what happens to them, but anyway, she winds up on this planet, this snow planet, and it's a planet full of orcs. She is like so shocked about what is going on. She also struggles a lot with anxiety and is finding it really difficult to live on this planet because no one kidnapped her with her anxiety medication, and she has not been without her anxiety medication for years. So she's really trying to just like calm down, decompress. That's gonna be very shocking, obviously, being kidnapped by aliens, very anxiety inducing. So she goes in the forest to take a walk, breathe, kind of calm down, and she basically has a tree fall on her. Agnar is one of the orcs in the village that the human woman popped up in, and he is letting out some frustration, so he decides to chop down a tree and accidentally like drops it on our heroine. Not like completely, like some of the branches like fell on her. It's not like the trunk did. He ends up rescuing her, and I think they both find out that they're fated to be together in that whole instance. I think when they draw blood or something happens and they find out they're mates or something like that. But this one is a short little novella if you're wanting something like that. Held by a Monster by Kenzie Kelly is my next one. This heroine of this book has been kidnapped by some like gross evil men, like in our world, like a horrible man has kidnapped her. She ends up escaping captivity and is running through the forest, and this monster ends up saving her and trying to kill the man who kidnapped her. Anyway, he brings her back to his siblings. They've been, I think, genetically engineered monsters, and they ended up escaping, and they're trying to track down the people who did this to them. Anyway, it's her romance with the monster who saved her. At first I thought it was going to be like Why Choose, because there were like multiple monster creatures, but no, it's just her and the one monster guy who rescued her. If you're wanting a whole nother series where all the books are fated mate romances, I recommend the Wildwood series by Lola Glass. I'm gonna mention the first one, which is The Art of Avoiding Your Werewolf. Each book in the series is about one of these girls. They're friend group. They were also genetically engineered or modified by people. So this is our world, but also paranormal creatures exist. So werewolves and vampires and whatnot. Vampires and werewolves are obviously like at war with each other. But the heroine and her friends are hybrids. They were experimented on when they were children, and hybrids are illegal, absolutely illegal. So they're terrified if they let out their secret or let people know what they are, like they're gonna be killed. So the heroine is hooking up with this werewolf, and the werewolf actually ends up, instead of getting it on with her, taking her to jail because he realizes what she is. But then he ends up finding out also through that hookup that they're fated mates, and so he's got to figure out what the hell he's gonna do. But yeah, it's very short. Each book in the series is like a little novella like that. And the last one that I'd love to mention is Snowed In with a Demon by L.E. Eldridge. Our heroine owns an inn. I kind of think like, I was picturing Lorelai Gilmore, kind of. Like she owns this inn, this bed and breakfast, but it's kind of, I think, falling down on certain aspects. And this is the romance with the demon who's invisible, who lives in kind of like the attic of the inn. And that's all I'm gonna say, I think. I want to keep the mystery alive. He's not, I will admit, he's not invisible the entire time. Okay, not the entire time. So anyway, so you have it. Those are some romances with the fated mate trope. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. But if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me a star emoji in the comment section down below. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.